so cold and then fire. Then the smoke would fill the night. We just roll right through stop signs. I know you hear it all the time.
It's my sweet gamer setup. I am actually Thor today.
You and I met, like a year and a half ago or something, and we met doing an open mic at, I think,
That's right.
Dog Days, right?
Yeah, I think it was Dog Days.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm really excited to do this interview with you. Like I explained to you before, this is sort of a personal healing project for me after a rough couple of years for me. I'm trying to explore people's ability to love themselves.
Okay.
Really what I want is your expertise as a human, your experience, your life, your outlook, because this whole thing is about getting as many different outlooks as I possibly can. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I can dig it.
Cool. Okay. First of all, you seemed excited about this project. So what specifically excited you when I explained what I was doing?
Yeah, definitely. So I have often considered getting into counseling, psychology, that kind of thing. I really like critical thinking about people's problems. I really like philosophy.
Yeah.
And I think I have a broad base of experiences from being raised religious, from living through some of the events that I've lived through, and just my own experiences, I feel, make me a pretty rounded individual.
Do you mind me asking what religion you grew up practicing?
Yeah. So I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
A big Catholic rosary heart thing.
Wow.
I'm not anymore. I'm about, I think, 16 years clean. So I'm doing,
Nice.
Yeah.
What
But it's,
would you say the main thing that gets you out of bed every morning?
I have become kind of addicted to two things. I would say personal growth. I really have developed a passion for it. After my divorce, I was kind of just in a really dark place. I was just kind of a shitty person. I can curse and all that. That's fine.
Oh yeah, of course. It's
Okay,
me.
fuck. All right.
Fuck, shit,
Sweet.
poop, cunt. Yeah.
Cool. I figured, but I'm like, hey, want to be respectful. No, I was in a really, really dark place. I was drinking unbelievable amounts of alcohol. I was extremely overweight. My health habits were just terrible. And then worse stuff happened to me, and it was just like, I gotta figure this out. And the other thing is family. And for me, those two things have really gone hand in hand. I have a girlfriend that I've been with for next month. It will be 4 years, and we live together. We have 4 kids, and I don't know. I do it for them. They're really my big driver. Is building myself into someone that I can respect, and building myself into somebody that they can respect.
Yeah. So you mentioned when you got divorced and you got into a really dark place. Or can you pinpoint what it was that got you out of that dark place?
Yeah. For one, my son. I never would give up with him here. I want to stay here for him. But 2 is just like, I'm better than this, and I deserve better than this. And I went through a lot of, it's so weird because I'm a really big guy, but I'm kind of just a big softie. And I went through a really nasty, my marriage was as bad as the divorce was. With a lot of emotional and verbal abuse. And, it was really hard for me. So knowing at the end of it was like, this sucks, and I'm so scared of it because I knew she was going to make it really nasty, but it was like, I'm better than this, and I deserve to be loved.
Yeah.
And that really sparked a lot of my personal growth, a lot of my development into like, okay, I know what I am, but how do I make that show on the exterior? How do I show that to somebody who potentially will love me,
Yeah. Wow. So how did you?
Honestly, being uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And for me, I figured that I went through life like my sisters were raised very traditionally by the Catholic mom, to clean and cook and be self-starters, and I didn't really get that. And I figured I would pick it up being married, and then I was just in this do-nothing relationship where we were just on the couch all the time. So part of my therapy was really, I just cleaned the shit out of my house every day, all day. I was just cleaning something. And I cleaned things that I never knew. I was like, I didn't know you had to clean that,
Yeah.
But it just, I really poured a lot of time into developing my relationship with my stepson, who I'm no longer, he's no longer with me, but my son as well. I was like, I'm gonna be the best fucking dad in the world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in pouring your energy into those things, it sort of helped reflect back on you and build your own confidence.
Absolutely, and something my dad said stuck out to me because it got really nasty with my ex-wife in a lot of ways, but I've always, I mean, like since I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, struggled with insane anxiety. Like I used to just, yeah, I mean, like I would lay in bed every night and I go, someday my dad is gonna die, and I just cry and cry and cry and cry and cry, and then I go, okay. Some days my mom's gonna die too. I go, ugh. I'd like torture myself. It was like this sick. My mom would be 15 minutes late picking me up from school, and I'm like, she died in a car accident. That's it. I just pulled my thing off the thing. I was just like, I was a wreck.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it again. Oh no. Two things that really helped me. The one was something that I was doing, and the one was something that was said to me. The first thing I want to talk about is my dad told me, he's like, the thing is, not everything is going to go right during the day, right? But if you can, before you go to sleep, if you can look in the mirror and say, I stood up for all the morals that I believe in, and I may not have made every decision the right way, and things still blew up in my face sometimes, but if you stood up for everything that you believed in, and you did the best that you could, then you should be able to sleep soundly at night. And that really helped me, because it was like, I have a control problem. I had a lot of trouble not being able to control how this person was viewing me and how they were treating me. And I'm a person that it's really hard for me. I'm not good at conflict, and no matter how nasty it would get, I'm just like, okay, bring it on, all because I don't like being like that person.
Yeah.
The other thing that I really got into was mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation has helped me a lot. Like a lot.
Okay. Any
Yeah.
specific teachers of mindfulness?
No, not in particular. There's a really good book on mindfulness. It's by a famous newscaster from, and it's got a great story. He went and did a lot of stuff over in Iraq and during the war, and got addicted to drugs, looking for that rush when he got back, and his whole search for mindfulness is kind of a biography / mindfulness book, but really just kind of the idea of being able to slow my mind down, which is something that I've always struggled with. But one of the best tools for mindfulness that I've found, the one that I always go back to now, is called the leaves on a stream. It starts and you're just concentrating on your breathing, and then you imagine a stream, and it's kind of foofy, but the shit really fucking works. They teach it to all the vets at the VA. They're like, this is a good one. But it's so essentially like you start to imagine the stream, and then you imagine like leaves floating on it, and one of the old school kind of ideas behind meditation is like you should be able to block out your mind and think of nothing, which is just completely fucking unrealistic.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
Especially people like you or me.
When we try, then our mind just races even more.
Exactly. It's like hitting the gas pedal.
Yeah.
And so what I really loved about this, it's given me a lot of control over my anxiety, because you're imagining these leaves and these thoughts are going to pop up. They just always do. And your mindfulness is about recognizing that something has pulled you away from that, not focusing on it, not beating yourself up about it, and just basically like envisioning putting that thought on the leaf and letting it float away. And then eventually when you start to do this and you get good at it, you do actually get these pauses of like, I'm just thinking about the stream. What I really like about it, the one video that I really like, and I can send it to you if you want, the lady says like, it's really important that you not beat yourself up about getting distracted. That's what our minds do.
Yeah.
That's just a basic function. People like you or I struggle with it and they really go out of control, but you do actually start to get these lapses and these quiet periods, and it's the idea of learning to flex that muscle and say, I know that I'm obsessing over this, and let me put it down, you know?
Yeah. It's always really helpful for me to hear that other people have the same type of anxiety as me, because it's not something that everyone talks about. One of the things that I'm working on right now is self-love. I tend to self-sabotage, and I tend to hate talk myself, you know?
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I want to know from you, number one, what you love most about yourself, external factors excluded. So just you on you. What do you love most about yourself? And then number two, what is your advice for me on how I can get back to that place of self-love?
Absolutely. I'm a highly empathetic person. I think that's why a lot of my friends have always come to me about stuff, because it's like, I can fucking feel it from where you're coming from. It doesn't matter that I don't have, the same genitalia or the same this or the same that. It's like, I can feel you. I can understand where you're coming from. I'll cry when you cry. I'll feel what you feel. That's just how I am. And I think for most of my life, that's been probably my biggest weakness, is over empathizing. And I used to I was in a very abusive relationship, and I used to it's so weird because I used to tell people well, she's had a really hard life and she went through this and she went through that, and justify all these things away. I mean, basically like a domestic violence victim will do. Absolutely. And I've come to love my empathy now most about myself, because I've put so much effort into being more in control about it and not beating myself up for feeling bad for people that hurt me.
Yeah.
I think the big difference for me is I used to justify away my ex's actions. I used to justify away the actions of people who hurt me, and now I just explain them and I accept them, and they are.
So can you explain a little bit more about the difference between justifying and recognizing? I think that's what I heard you say. You used to justify, and now you acknowledge.
For me, it came down to, people can be a third party and support you without having to choose a side. Okay. And I feel like I spent so much of my time empathizing with my we'll just say, yeah, there you go, my abuser, empathizing with my abuser, and then also empathizing with the person that I'm talking to, and feeling like, but I don't want to turn into this triangle. I need to adjust the way you're feeling it,
So you're trying to manage everyone's emotions without even letting yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's okay. That's I've come to understand that my ex has a mental illness. She's got what's it called, borderline personality disorder. Oh, yeah, and it's from a lifetime of abuse and trauma, and she really has gone through those things. but I've come to accept that, like, I'm never going to fix her image of me. You have to go out there and say, it's not about them anymore.
Yeah.
It's about me, and empathizing with yourself.
As an empath as well, I will make excuses for everyone in my life
Yeah.
who's harmful. But when it comes to me, I'm
Hmm.
way harder on myself than I would be on anyone else. So
Yeah.
I love that concept of self
I feel
empathy.
like I've always struggled when I'm not in a relationship.
Mm,
I have a lot of love to give,
mm,
and being without somebody, I was always very desperate to get back to that. My family's always joked that I'm a serial monogamist.
mm,
Like, I don't date someone for a couple weeks and then kind of off and on. It's like if I'm with somebody, it's like there's 2 or 3 or 4 years of my life,
yeah.
And because of that, I've always been very like fixed on, it doesn't matter who this person is or what they're like. They're the first person to show me return affection, so that's my thing. I'll change everything about me, and you know,
So how do you not do that? Because that's my biggest
fuck,
that's my biggest problem that I'm
yeah,
dealing with is I'm single and I'm happy. I mean, I can look in the mirror and be like, I am happy being single. But I'm the same as you in the sense that I have a lot of fucking love to give,
yeah,
and when I don't have that, I can't. I have a hard time figuring out how to feel complete.
yeah.
So how do you be that empath that you are, and and also not need a partner?
I think it goes back to what you were saying, that learning to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of my relationships, I didn't love myself, and I look
Mm-hmm.
back and I'm like, I had these messages, just fucking warning bells and klaxons and alarms going off, like, dude, you're not happy. And it was like, put those in a box, put that box in a styrofoam thing, and then put sound dampening, and then just like, this girlfriend that I have is the first one that I chose, if that makes sense.
It does.
I spent a lot of time and many relationships going, this is I don't care what they look like. I'm not a very superficial person. I was like, this is just my thing. She likes me, so and for the first time, when all this stuff happened to me, and then I'm single, and I'm a single dad. I'm taking care of 2 kids because she fucked off, and it's like, I had to learn to love myself,
Yeah.
and I started putting time into working out. I started putting time into learning how to take care of a home and take care of kids really well.
Yeah.
And I started putting time into developing who I was as a father,
Yeah.
and righting wrongs that I had. And I started kind of dating around, and this girl was talking to me, and I kind of wasn't super interested in meeting up, and we talked for some time, and then she kind of started to be interested in meeting up, and I kind of just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And that was a big step for me, because in the past it would have been like, you can't fucking throw this away, dude. That was my first big step. But then I met my girlfriend. We were just friends. We were kind of both going through some serious shit, and we just developed a friendship. I liked her. I wanted to kiss her the first day. That I was like, she's so fucking hot, and I'm like, this is a
Oh.
mate. I thought she was so great, but I said, like, let's just not force anything, and that was very hard to do. It was about liking who I was giving her and letting that develop from there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. That like speaks so true to me because I have very similar experiences, and I feel like I am right now at that point where I get to choose.
Yeah,
But I'm teetering, because I'm still healing, and
yeah.
but it's so great to hear from a fellow empath and also like anxiety ridden buddy. Before I ask my last structured question, is there anything else you want to say?
I think that it's easy for people like us to say, I'm broken. And no matter what you're going through, don't beat yourself up for caring, what other people think, because I think people like us true empaths are really rare, and I think it's hard to find a place in such a very like use it and lose it society. There are people out there who will appreciate the fuck out of having you as a friend, and will appreciate the fuck out of being able to be with you. That would be my hopeful takeaway for you, is that like you're probably really fucking awesome, and just accepting your faults, because faults can be strengths too.
Yeah. Thank you. That's amazing.
Chef's kiss.
Last question. 2020 was a shit show for everyone.
Yeah.
But we all got something out of it. So what was the best thing that came out of 2020 for you?
It was definitely the next step in my relationship. We moved my girlfriend and her 3 daughters in, and they actually, it's kind of crazy. It's one of those things that it's like, I don't believe in God, but I kind of believe in like the universe and kind of a general sense of karma.
Yeah.
And it was just like they moved in right when they announced that they wouldn't be going back to school for the rest of the year, like March. And it's like and then I started working from home, and then so she's able to do her stuff and I can watch the kids while I'm working. It just kind of fucking fell into place.
I'm super happy for you. This was a beautiful interview. I could not have imagined anything better. Are you going to be doing stand-up when shit starts again?
Absolutely. I've been writing my ass off.
Nice. Okay, good. Well, I'm excited to see you on stage. Thank you.
Yeah, you as well.
This was so great.
Absolutely. Anytime. I'd love to come back.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you.